Welcome back to my channel. Roman Reigns just lost his mind and attacked CM Punk backstage in the most unhinged confrontation WWE has ever seen, and what unfolded behind the curtain at Monday Night Raw was far darker, more chaotic, and more real than anything WWE would ever willingly show on television. The entire situation exploded the moment the cameras cut to commercial, and everything that followed revealed a version of Roman Reigns that fans have never witnessed, a version driven not by confidence or control, but by fear, paranoia, and the crushing belief that CM Punk was moments away from stealing everything Roman had built over the past 4 years. What makes this entire ordeal so terrifying isn't just the violence itself, but the chilling truth behind why Roman snapped. Because this wasn't just a heated disagreement between two top stars. This was a psychological collapse culminating in a vicious attack that left WWE officials scrambling, CM Punk bleeding, and Roman Reigns screaming threats that no one could dismiss as part of a storyline. According to multiple people who were present when the commercial break began, CM Punk was casually walking down the hall on his way to catering after delivering a promo that teased his intentions to pursue a WWE Championship match. Punk was relaxed, smiling, and talking with crew members, completely unaware that Roman Reigns was lurking just around the corner with fury in his eyes. What made Roman's presence so alarming to everyone backstage was that he was completely alone. No Paul Heyman whispering strategy. No Solo Sikoa looming behind him. No Bloodline members providing backup. Roman being by himself wasn't normal, and to those who saw him storming toward Punk, it was the first sign that something was very wrong. The moment Roman reached Punk, he exploded, stepping nose to nose with him and shouting accusations that instantly changed the mood in the hallway. Roman's voice cracked with rage as he screamed, "You think you're just going to walk back in here and take my spot? You think you're taking the title from me? I carried this company while you ran away. You're not taking anything from me." His chest was heaving, his fists were clenched so tightly the veins in his forearm bulged, and the intensity coming off of him was unlike anything anyone had seen, not in character, not in storyline, but in real life. CM Punk, taken completely off guard, lifted his hands slightly and tried to calm Roman down, telling him that whatever the issue was, they could address it professionally, either in the ring or in a meeting with management. Punk was trying to defuse the situation, but Roman wasn't listening. In an instant of uncontrolled rage, Roman shoved Punk so hard that Punk hit the concrete wall behind him, and the sickening thud echoed down the hallway. Before Punk could even regain his balance, Roman launched forward and began throwing real punches. Not the protected, pulled strikes of a wrestling performance, but actual blows fueled by anger and adrenaline. Punk tried covering up, raising his arms to shield his head, but Roman kept swinging, growling, and yelling as he landed shot after shot. It took multiple WWE staff members sprinting in to even attempt to restrain Roman, but he thrashed against them like a man possessed. By the time 8 people managed to pull him off Punk, Roman was still trying to break free, still screaming that Punk would never take his arrow away, still insisting that he would destroy anyone who tried. CM Punk was left dazed on the floor, bleeding from above his eye, with bruises already forming on his face and neck. Sources close to the situation have claimed that this violent outburst wasn't some isolated moment of frustration. In fact, several people backstage have noticed Roman growing more volatile in recent weeks. He's reportedly lashed out at producers, gotten into heated arguments with management, and even begun distancing himself from his own faction members. One person described Roman as being in a downward psychological spiral, unable to cope with the reality that CM Punk's return has reignited fan interest in a way that challenges Roman's long-held status as WWE's centerpiece. Roman's dominance had gone largely unchallenged for years, and now a returning icon like CM Punk threatens that standing in a way Roman isn't mentally prepared to handle. This is the darker side of WWE's star-centric model, where certain wrestlers are elevated so high, given so much influence, and protected for so long that they start to believe their position is immovable. When someone like CM Punk shows up with massive fan support, proven credibility, and a history of walking away on his own terms, it introduces a threat that someone like Roman does not know how to process. Punk represents everything Roman fears losing, popularity, control, relevance, identity. Punk doesn't need WWE. He made himself a legend outside of it, and that freedom terrifies Roman, whose entire identity has become intertwined with his status as the tribal chief and the top star. After the attack, Roman was taken into a private room where Triple H and other top executives confronted him about the incident. Witnesses say that the meeting grew extremely tense, with Roman reportedly yelling that if WWE continued pushing CM Punk in ways that threatened his place at the top, he would walk out of the company. The idea that Roman, who had just violently assaulted a colleague, felt entitled to issue ultimatums shocked many backstage. But what's even more infuriating is that WWE officials, instead of immediately suspending Roman, are rumored to be considering ways to appease him in hopes of preventing him from leaving the company. This is the disturbing truth of WWE's system. If a star is valuable enough, they're treated like they're invincible. Roman attacked Punk, caused physical harm, terrified the locker room, and still management is hesitant to punish him. CM Punk, the victim in this situation, has been asked to keep quiet, not make the incident public, and allow WWE to handle things internally. WWE does not want the backlash that would come from fans learning their top star committed a legitimate backstage assault. The absence of Paul Heyman during the altercation is another detail that speaks volumes. Heyman has always been by Roman's side, serving as his strategist, advisor, and stabilizing force. But sources say Heyman has been slowly distancing himself because he can sense that Roman is unraveling. Having spent years in the wrestling industry, Heyman recognizes when a performer is nearing a mental breaking point, and he reportedly does not want to be present when Roman fully snaps. Even more concerning, members of the bloodline have quietly held discussions without Roman, debating whether to intervene or create distance for their own safety. Roman's behavior has become unpredictable, and the faction that once strengthened him is now afraid of being caught in the fallout of his instability. What makes Roman's attack even more cowardly is that he waited until Punk was alone and distracted before ambushing him. Roman had every opportunity to confront Punk publicly, in the ring, or in a segment where both men were protected by the structure of the show. Instead, Roman attacked him when Punk had no reason to expect a fight, which speaks to Roman's fear, not his dominance. A confident champion handles challenges in the ring, face to face, but Roman's behavior showed that he believes he cannot defeat Punk in a fair fight. His method was to weaken Punk outside the ring, attempting to injure